Welcome, seekers of the strange and the supernatural, to Whispers in the Dark, your go-to channel for spine-chilling tales and haunted histories. Here, we explore the eerie corners of the world where shadows whisper secrets and walls echo with stories untold. Today, we embark on a chilling journey along the rugged coastline of Oregon, a state renowned for its breathtaking natural beauty, stormy seas, and lighthouses that stand as silent sentinels against the fury of the Pacific. But beneath their picturesque facades lies a darker narrative, one steeped in tragedy, isolation, and restless spirits. Lighthouses have long been symbols of hope and guidance, guiding sailors safely through treacherous waters. Yet they are also places of profound solitude, where keepers and their families endured harsh conditions far from civilization. This isolation, coupled with the constant threat of storms and shipwrecks, has given rise to countless ghostly legends. From flickering lights in abandoned towers to phantom footsteps echoing through empty halls, Oregon's lighthouses harbor mysteries that defy explanation. In this two-part series, we will shine a light, figuratively and literally, on the most haunted lighthouses in Oregon. These towering structures, perched precariously on cliffs and jutting out into the sea, serve as gateways to another realm. We'll uncover the chilling tales behind these historic beacons, where history and horror collide in ways that send shivers down even the bravest spines. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, prepare to have your curiosity piqued and your courage tested as we venture into the unknown. So grab your flashlight, keep your wits about you, and join us as we step into the shadows of Oregon's haunted past. Let the whispers begin. The haunting legacy of Heceta Head Lighthouse, a beacon of beauty and terror perched majestically on a cliff overlooking the tumultuous Pacific Ocean, the Heceta Head Lighthouse stands as one of Oregon's most iconic landmarks, and one of its most haunted. Built in 1894, this picturesque beacon has guided countless mariners through the perilous waters of the Oregon coast. Its striking white tower, framed by lush forests and crashing waves, is a postcard-worthy image of serenity. Yet beneath its tranquil exterior lies a darker tale, whispered among locals and visitors alike, a tale of spectral encounters, shadowy figures, and an enigmatic presence known only as the Grey Lady. The legend of the Grey Lady dates back to the early days of the lighthouse's operation, when it served as both a navigational aid and a residence for the lighthouse keeper and his family. According to folklore, the spirit belongs to a woman who once lived in the adjacent keeper's quarters. While her true identity remains shrouded in mystery, some believe she was the wife of a former keeper, while others speculate she may have been a servant, or even a victim of foul play. What is certain, however, is that her presence continues to linger within the walls of the historic structure. Visitors to Heceta Head often recount eerie experiences that defy logical explanation. Many describe feeling an inexplicable chill upon entering the keeper's quarters, despite the warmth of the surrounding environment. Others report seeing a translucent figure clad in gray gliding silently through the halls or standing motionless at a window, gazing out toward the sea. Some claim to hear faint humming or soft footsteps echoing through the building, only to discover they are completely alone. The Grey Lady seems particularly fond of the attic, where guests staying overnight in the now operating bed and breakfast have reported objects moving on their own, doors opening and closing without cause, and the sensation of being watched. One of the most compelling accounts comes from a paranormal investigator who spent several nights documenting activity within the lighthouse. Armed with thermal cameras and audio recording equipment, the team captured startling evidence suggesting the presence of an intelligent entity. On multiple occasions, they recorded disembodied voices responding directly to questions posed during EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, sessions. One chilling exchange involved a voice clearly stating, "I am here," followed by the sound of footsteps ascending the staircase. When investigators followed the noise, they found no one present, yet their cameras revealed a faint, shadowy figure retreating into the darkness. Staff members and volunteers who maintain the lighthouse also share tales of unexplained phenomena. Light bulbs frequently burn out or flicker erratically, even though the wiring has been inspected and deemed safe. Tools left behind after repairs mysteriously vanish, only to reappear days later in entirely different locations. Perhaps most disturbing are the reports of a cold, unseen hand brushing against visitors' arms or shoulders, accompanied by the faint scent of lavender, a detail consistent across numerous accounts. For those brave enough to spend extended periods inside the lighthouse, sleep is often elusive, disrupted by vivid dreams of a sorrowful woman pleading for help or forgiveness. What makes Heceta Head so uniquely haunting is not just its reputation for paranormal activity, but the way it invites visitors to engage with its spectral legacy. Unlike many other haunted sites, which remain inaccessible or restricted, the lighthouse operates as both a museum and a bed and breakfast, welcoming guests to immerse themselves in its eerie charm. During the day, tourists marvel at its architectural beauty and learn about its storied past through guided tours. At night, however, the atmosphere shifts dramatically. As the sun dips below the horizon and the ocean roars in the distance, the sense of isolation becomes palpable. It is then that the boundaries between the living and the dead seem to blur, leaving room for encounters that challenge the limits of belief. For skeptics, Heceta Head offers ample opportunity to test theories and debunk claims of hauntings. Yet, for believers, it provides undeniable proof that some places are imbued with energies beyond human comprehension. Whether you come seeking answers, adventure, or simply a good scare, the Heceta Head Lighthouse promises an experience unlike any other. As you climb its spiral staircase or wander its dimly lit corridors, remember, the light that guides sailors home may also illuminate paths to the other side. And if you feel a sudden gust of wind, or catch a glimpse of something fleeting in the corner of your eye, don't dismiss it too quickly. After all, the Grey Lady might just be watching. The ghosts of Tillamook Rock Lighthouse, a fortress of despair. Few lighthouses evoke the same sense of dread and isolation as Tillamook Rock, affectionately and ominously nicknamed Terrible Tilly. Perched atop a jagged basalt monolith roughly a mile off the Oregon coast, this remote sentinel stands as a testament to human ingenuity and endurance. Completed in 1881 after a grueling 2-year construction process fraught with danger, Tillamook Rock Lighthouse served as a critical guidepost for ships navigating the treacherous waters of the Columbia River Bar. Yet, its operational history is overshadowed by tales of tragedy, madness, and the supernatural, making it one of the most haunted lighthouses in the United States. From the moment workers began blasting and carving into the rock to create a foundation, Tillamook earned its fearsome reputation. The site was battered relentlessly by massive waves, ferocious winds, and unpredictable weather patterns, creating conditions so hazardous that work crews referred to it as the graveyard of the Pacific. Construction claimed lives almost immediately. During an early survey mission, a massive wave swept away a small boat carrying workers, killing all aboard. Despite these setbacks, and the persistent threat of death, the project pushed forward, culminating in the completion of a towering beacon meant to save lives. Ironically, the very structure built to prevent maritime disasters became a crucible of suffering for those tasked with maintaining it. Life as a lighthouse keeper on Tillamook Rock was nothing short of hellish. Keepers were stationed in shifts lasting weeks at a time, cut off from the mainland by miles of unforgiving ocean. Supplies arrived sporadically, delayed by storms or rough seas, forcing keepers to endure extreme privation. The isolation took a toll on mental health, with many succumbing to depression, paranoia, and even hallucinations. Accounts from surviving journals paint a grim picture of men slowly unraveling under the weight of their circumstances. One entry describes a keeper hearing phantom voices calling his name from the depths of the sea, while another recounts visions of shadowy figures pacing the narrow walkways outside the lantern room. Over time, rumors spread among coastal communities that Tillamook was cursed, a belief bolstered by a string of bizarre incidents and fatalities. Perhaps the most infamous event occurred in 1934, when a violent storm battered the lighthouse with such ferocity that it shattered windows and flooded the interior. Waves reportedly reached heights of over 100 feet, slamming against the rock with enough force to shake the entire structure. Inside, keepers huddled together in terror, convinced they would perish. Though no lives were lost that night, the psychological scars ran deep. Several men resigned shortly afterward, citing unbearable stress and recurring nightmares of drowning. Years later, paranormal investigators visiting the site captured audio recordings of what sounded like desperate cries for help amid the roar of crashing waves, a haunting echo of that fateful storm. Even after Tillamook ceased operations in 1957, its dark legacy persisted. Decommissioned and abandoned, the lighthouse fell into disrepair, becoming a magnet for urban explorers and thrill-seekers. Those who dared to scale its crumbling walls often returned with chilling stories of unexplained phenomena. Many reported hearing faint whispers carried by the wind, while others described seeing ghostly apparitions of former keepers wandering the desolate corridors. One group claimed to encounter a spectral figure standing at the edge of the rock, staring mournfully into the abyss before vanishing without a trace. Another team captured thermal imaging footage showing heat signatures moving through areas devoid of any physical presence, suggesting the existence of residual energy trapped within the stone. Adding to the eeriness is Tillamook's macabre second life as a columbarium. In the 1980s, the lighthouse was converted into a repository for cremated remains, housing thousands of urns within its hollowed-out chambers. Though the business ultimately failed due to logistical challenges and public unease, the idea of interring the dead in such a forbidding location only deepened its association with death and the supernatural. Visitors today speak of feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they approach the rock, as though the collective grief of those entombed there permeates the air. Some describe hearing faint sobbing or seeing shadowy forms drifting aimlessly through the mist, their identities forever lost to time. What sets Tillamook Rock apart from other haunted lighthouses is its sheer inaccessibility. Unlike structures nestled along scenic highways or nestled within quaint towns, terrible Tilly looms defiantly offshore, accessible only by boat or helicopter. This remoteness amplifies its aura of foreboding, transforming every visit into a calculated risk. For those who brave the journey, the rewards are twofold: unparalleled views of the wild Oregon coastline and the chance to confront the unknown face to face. Yet few leave untouched. Whether it's the sight of a flickering light in an otherwise pitch-black tower or the sensation of being watched by unseen eyes, Tillamook ensures that its visitors carry a piece of its haunted essence with them long after they've returned to solid ground. As the waves crash against its weathered facade and seabirds wheel overhead, Tillamook Rock stands as both a relic of maritime history and a monument to human resilience. But it is also a place where the line between life and death blurs, where the echoes of tragedy reverberate through time, and where the ghosts of the past refuse to be silenced. If you find yourself drawn to its haunting beauty, tread lightly, for the spirits of Tillamook are always watching. Yaquina Head Lighthouse, where light meets shadow rising gracefully above the rugged shoreline of Newport, Oregon, the Yaquina Head Lighthouse is a beacon of enduring beauty and mystery. First illuminated in 1873, this majestic structure stands as the tallest lighthouse on the Oregon coast, its 93-foot tower casting a brilliant beam that can be seen up to 19 nautical miles away. Yet, for all its grandeur, Yaquina Head harbors a darker secret, one whispered among locals and seasoned visitors alike. Beneath its gleaming lens and sturdy stone walls lies a labyrinth of ghostly tales, where the boundary between the living and the dead feels perilously thin. The haunting reputation of Yaquina Head begins with its origins, steeped in hardship and tragedy. Constructed during a period of rapid expansion along the Pacific Northwest, the lighthouse was intended to guide vessels safely through the notoriously treacherous waters near Cape Foulweather. However, its creation came at great cost. Workers faced brutal conditions, battling fierce winds, relentless rain, and the ever-present threat of accidents. Historical records reveal that several laborers lost their lives during construction, their bodies buried hastily beneath the soil near the site. Locals believe these unfortunate souls never truly left, their restless spirits tethered to the land they helped shape. Over the decades, countless reports of paranormal activity have emerged from within the lighthouse's walls. Visitors and staff alike describe experiencing inexplicable phenomena that defy rational explanation. Among the most common accounts is the sensation of being watched, even when alone in the tower. Many report feeling an icy draft sweeping through the lantern room, despite the absence of open windows or vents. Others claim to see shadowy figures darting across peripheral vision, disappearing as quickly as they appear. One particularly unnerving story involves a volunteer who swore he felt a hand grip his shoulder while climbing the spiral staircase. When he turned around, no one was there, but the distinct impression of fingers remained imprinted on his skin. The basement of the keeper's quarters serves as another hotspot for supernatural occurrences. Once used for storage and maintenance, this subterranean space now houses artifacts and exhibits detailing the lighthouse's storied past. However, it is also said to be haunted by the spirit of a former keeper's child who tragically drowned in nearby waters. Staff members report hearing faint giggling emanating from the basement, along with the sound of tiny footsteps running back and forth. On several occasions, visitors have captured photographs showing orbs of light hovering near old furniture or antique tools, believed to be manifestations of the young spirit playing hide-and-seek. Paranormal investigators have long been drawn to Yaquina Head, intrigued by its reputation as a nexus of residual hauntings. Using advanced technology such as infrared cameras and electromagnetic field detectors, researchers have documented compelling evidence of unexplained activity. Audio recordings reveal disembodied voices speaking in hushed tones, while thermal imaging captures fleeting images of figures standing motionless before fading into the ether. One team captured a dramatic spike in electromagnetic activity near the base of the tower, coinciding with a sudden drop in temperature. Witnesses described seeing a translucent man in period clothing leaning against the railing, gazing out toward the sea. When approached, the figure vanished, leaving behind only the faint smell of salt water and despair. What sets Yaquina Head apart from other haunted lighthouses is its accessibility and popularity. Unlike remote or abandoned structures, Yaquina Head operates as a fully functioning national wildlife refuge, attracting thousands of tourists each year. Guided tours offer visitors a glimpse into its rich history, from its role in maritime navigation to its transformation into a protected sanctuary for seabirds and marine life. Yet, amidst the awe-inspiring views and educational displays, there lingers an undercurrent of unease. Families picnicking near the base of the tower sometimes report seeing a lone figure standing atop the cliffs, silhouetted against the setting sun. Upon closer inspection, the figure disappears, leaving behind only an empty expanse of rock and sky. For those brave enough to explore Yaquina Head after dark, the experience takes on an entirely different dimension. As daylight fades and the lighthouse's beam cuts through the encroaching gloom, the atmosphere shifts palpably. Shadows stretch unnaturally long across the grounds, and the sound of crashing waves grows louder, almost deafening. Visitors recount hearing disembodied whispers carried on the wind, urging them to turn back or warning them not to ascend the tower. Some claim to see ghostly faces peering out from the lantern room, their expressions frozen in anguish or sorrow. Even seasoned skeptics admit to feeling a creeping sense of dread as they navigate the winding pathways leading to the lighthouse, as though unseen eyes follow their every move. Yet, for all its eerie allure, Yaquina Head remains a place of profound beauty and historical significance. Its haunting legacy serves as a reminder of the sacrifices made by those who came before us, as well as the enduring power of memory. Whether viewed as a sacred memorial or a haunted sentinel, the lighthouse continues to resonate with the echoes of its past, ensuring that the voices of its victims will never be silenced. For those who dare to visit, Yaquina Head offers a rare opportunity to engage with Oregon's haunted history in a tangible way. Whether you're raising a camera to capture its majestic silhouette or braving the spiral staircase in search of ghosts, remember, at Yaquina Head, light doesn't just guide, it illuminates paths to the other side. The mysterious lights of Cape Blanco Lighthouse, illuminating the unknown perched atop dramatic cliffs overlooking the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean, the Cape Blanco Lighthouse stands as Oregon's westernmost point, and one of its most enigmatic. First lit in 1870, this historic beacon has guided countless mariners through the perilous waters of the southern Oregon coast. Yet, its luminous glow is not the only light that draws attention. For decades, visitors and locals alike have reported sightings of mysterious, unexplained lights dancing across the horizon, sparking tales of ghostly apparitions, spectral ships, and otherworldly phenomena. These ethereal illuminations have transformed Cape Blanco into a focal point of paranormal intrigue, earning it a place among the most haunted lighthouses in the region. The legend of Cape Blanco's mysterious lights dates back to the late 19th century, when sailors began reporting strange occurrences while navigating the treacherous waters near the lighthouse. Ships approaching the cape under clear skies would suddenly encounter dazzling beams of light appearing and disappearing without pattern or explanation. These lights seem to move independently of the lighthouse's steady beam, darting erratically across the waves or hovering eerily above the water. Some captains dismissed them as reflections or atmospheric anomalies, but others insisted they were something far more sinister, beacons from the other side, luring unsuspecting vessels toward doom. Local folklore attributes these phantom lights to the spirits of those who perished in the area's numerous shipwrecks. Cape Blanco's coastline is notorious for its jagged rocks and unpredictable weather, claiming countless lives over the centuries. Among the most tragic tales is that of the steamship Koya, which sank off the Cape in 1872 after hitting an uncharted reef. All but one crew member drowned, and it is said that their restless souls continue to haunt the waters, their lanterns still burning in a futile attempt to guide others to safety. Similar stories abound, each adding layers to the lighthouse's haunted reputation. On land, the phenomenon takes on a more personal form. Visitors to the lighthouse often describe seeing ghostly figures carrying lanterns along the cliffs or standing motionless at the edge of the precipice. One particularly chilling account comes from a park ranger who worked at Cape Blanco during the 1960s. Late one evening, as he was locking up the keeper's quarters, he noticed a soft, golden glow emanating from the lantern room. Believing a colleague had forgotten to turn off the light, he climbed the spiral staircase only to find the room empty. The lens was cold to the touch, yet the glow persisted, growing brighter and more intense until it filled the entire chamber. Overwhelmed by a sense of dread, the ranger fled the building, vowing never to return after sunset. The mysterious lights are not confined to the lighthouse itself. They have been spotted throughout the surrounding landscape, including the nearby Cape Blanco State Park. Campers and hikers recount seeing orbs of light floating silently through the forest or hovering above the cliffs, their movements defying natural explanation. Some describe the lights as pulsating softly, as though alive, while others claim they emit a low hum that resonates deep within the chest. Attempts to photograph or record these phenomena often yield frustratingly inconsistent results, with cameras capturing nothing but darkness or distorted images that resemble streaks of static. Paranormal investigators have long been fascinated by Cape Blanco's spectral illuminations, conducting numerous expeditions in search of answers. Using tools such as thermal imaging cameras and electromagnetic field meters, they've gathered intriguing data suggesting the presence of unexplained energy fields. One team captured footage of a glowing orb descending from the sky and hovering near the lighthouse before vanishing abruptly. Another group recorded EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, of disembodied voices whispering warnings like, "Turn back," or "Stay away." Skeptics argue that these findings could be attributed to environmental factors or equipment malfunctions, but believers see them as proof that the lights are manifestations of entities attempting to communicate. What makes Cape Blanco's mysterious lights uniquely terrifying is their unpredictability. Unlike traditional ghost stories tied to specific locations or events, these phenomena occur spontaneously, often catching witnesses off guard. Tourists admiring the sunset may suddenly find themselves transfixed by a flickering light bobbling across the waves. Drivers passing along the coastal highway have reported seeing ghostly lanterns swinging wildly in the rearview mirror, only to disappear when they turn around. Even residents who live near the lighthouse admit to feeling uneasy during certain times of the year, particularly around anniversaries of major shipwrecks, when the lights seem to grow more active and aggressive. Despite, or perhaps because of, their elusiveness, the mysterious lights of Cape Blanco continue to captivate imaginations. They serve as a reminder of the untamed beauty and inherent danger of the Oregon coast, where nature's raw power meets humanity's fragile mortality. For those who venture to the Cape seeking answers, the experience is both exhilarating and unsettling. As the sun dips below the horizon and the ocean roars in the distance, the sense of isolation becomes palpable. It is then that the lights appear, casting an eerie glow over the cliffs and challenging the boundaries of belief. Whether viewed as remnants of tragic souls, tricks of the mind, or glimpses into another realm, the mysterious lights of Cape Blanco defy easy categorization. They embody the essence of the unknown, drawing us closer even as they push us away. So, if you find yourself standing on the edge of the continent, gazing out into the endless expanse of sea and sky, keep your eyes peeled for flashes of brilliance cutting through the darkness. You never know what, or who, you might encounter. Embracing the shadows of Oregon's lighthouses as we draw this first chapter of our haunted journey through Oregon's lighthouses to a close, let us pause to reflect on the myriad stories that have unfolded before us. From the spectral elegance of Heceta Head to the desolate despair of Tillamook Rock, from the enigmatic lights of Cape Blanco to the lingering echoes of Yaquina Head, we have encountered a tapestry of terror woven with threads of history, emotion, and the supernatural. These towering beacons, perched precariously on cliffs and jutting defiantly into the sea, are not mere relics of maritime history. They are portals to the unknown, where the past refuses to fade and the dead linger in the shadows. Each lighthouse we explored carries its own unique legacy of tragedy, resilience, and mystery. They remind us that the isolation and peril faced by their keepers left indelible marks, not just on the structures themselves but on the very fabric of the landscapes they inhabit. The flickering lights, phantom footsteps, and ghostly apparitions are more than just fodder for campfire tales. They are echoes of lives lived, lost, and forever intertwined with the elements. In these haunted halls, the boundary between the living and the dead blurs, inviting us to confront the uncomfortable truths of our shared human experience. This exploration of Oregon's haunted lighthouses is far from over. In part 2 of our series, we will delve even deeper into the shadows, uncovering more chilling tales and forgotten legends. We'll step into places where time seems to stand still and the veil between worlds grows thinner still. Whether you are a skeptic seeking intrigue, or a believer chasing goosebumps, the next installment promises to deliver an unforgettable descent into the unknown. Until then, stay curious, stay brave, and remember, the darkest corners of history often hold the brightest truths. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the haunted heart of Oregon's coastline. Keep your lanterns lit. We'll see you soon. Let the whispers guide you home.